What's up, YouTube? This is Bison X79. Guys, I'm coming today with my latest deck profile. True Dracos with a September 2018 format. Been playing this deck since it came out last May in 2017. I've had a ton of fun. I personally love having decks that tribute summon, being relevant. With this deck's got some serious power with the monsters, especially with the ability to be able to activate spells or traps right from your deck to your field, which just adds a whole level of consistency. You add to the fact that these guys can actually tribute off those continuous spell and traps just to get themselves onto the field. Means you don't have to worry about having to wait to get monsters onto the field or special summon monsters out and then go for a tribute summon. The deck is insanely fun to play. It's much more of a grind deck now, and the longer you can control your opponent with your cards, the better off you have at winning the duel. So, without further ado, we're going to get right into it, and of course, we're going to start off with our monsters. The first monster is Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Slayer. Only at one, it searches out your, or activates your trap cards right from your deck, so awesome. Level 6 Warrior Tribute, Worm type, 2500 base stats. With Diagram up, you get 2800, which is actually pretty good. He's at one right now. I hopefully someday, maybe in the next list, Konami might consider bringing this guy down to 2. We only have 4 targets for him to search. We're really not going to be utilizing the second copy for that search abilities. So, I think 2 would be pretty cool to see him at. And of course, we have 3 copies of Ignis Heat. Ignis Heat, level 5 Fire Tribute Worm, 2400 attack, 1000 defense. This is the guy that searches or activates your spell cards from your deck to your hand. Pretty awesome. Burn at max, because you want to see your spells. And of course, to see your monsters, you play 2 copies of Majesty Maiden. Again, level 5 Wonder Tribute Worm monster. 2300, so it goes up to 2600 on their diagrams. And she searches out your monsters, which is pretty cool. So you got those 3 monsters. That's pretty much all the True Draco monsters you need in this deck. You run 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. It's still a very viable hand trap. Pop stuff off the field. Off your opponent when they activate the effects, so a great way to help further control the board. For the spells, we have 3 copies of Cara Demise. Yeah, sorry guys, not a budget build. You need to be running this. It's pretty much the best draw card you can have in this deck. Low hand situations, activate the card. You draw 3. Yeah, you have to discard your card at your hand at the end of the turn, but a lot of times you'll be setting and activating stuff from your hand anyway. So, having this card in the deck really doesn't hurt you a lot. So, get you 2 cards faster. All right. Then of course you have 3 copies of Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix. The True Draco's continuous spells, all of them have 3 effects. Okay, the first effect for Draco Phoenix is that you can target up to 3 other True Draco spells or traps or monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them back in your deck, and you draw 1 card. Alright, for the other 2 effects are the same for the other True Draco spell card, continuous spell card, which is basically you can activate this card effect and use it as an extra normal tribute summon for your turn, and then whenever this card leaves the field, you get to turn around and destroy one of your opponent's spell and traps. This is what makes this deck so very versatile, because when this card leaves the field, your opponent's losing something off the field as well, so it's just great. And it essentially gives you an extra normal summon per turn. Combine that with True Draco Heritage, the other continuous spell, you can have up to 3 tribute summons per turn, which is pretty freaking epic. Alright, can't run True Dracos without 3 copies of Diagram. Pops a card on the field or in your hand. Search out a True Dracos or a True King spell, trap, or monster, and add it to your hand. So it's actually very good with that. Power boosts everything up by 300, which is good. And also protects your monsters from being destroyed once by battle. So your opponents literally have to attack over your monsters twice to kill them. Alright, one of my little tech cards here is March of the Monarchs. Love dropping this guy down the field because whenever he hits the field, your tribute summon monsters are protected from being targeted by card effects and destroyed by card effects. Alright? So this card is actually very good in the matchup against Sky Strikers because then they can't Widow Anchor you. Or use Afterburners to destroy your monsters, because Afterburners does target your monsters, doesn't target your spells. If they have 3 more. So this is the reason why it's in there, helps protect your monsters. Of course, get to cards faster, 3 copies of Pot of Duality. Again, dig into your deck, 3 cards, get the card you need, move on. Very good. Alright, 2 copies of Terraforming, because it's at 2 now, but it's actually worth running. You want to see your diagrams as often as possible. I've been testing this deck like crazy, and I can tell you right now, I haven't had a hand where I didn't start with diagram or a way to get to diagram. So it's insanely important to have this card here. Alright, and last but not least, you have True Draco Heritage. Alright, Heritage offers another draw power. Basically, when it basically allows you to draw up to 3 cards depending on the number of True Draco cards that were sent to the graveyard that turn. So if you send a monster and a spell with its card face up, you're going to draw 2 cards. If you send a monster and 2 spells, you're still only drawing 2 cards because it only counts the different card types: monster, spells, and traps. So if you send 1 of each, you get 3 cards. If you only send one of 2 of them, you're only getting 2 cards. You get that whole idea, and of course it has the other continuous. It all has the other effects where you could give you an extra tribute summon, and it gives you this back row destruction when it leaves the field. Alright, that's that. On to the traps. 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. For me, this was actually kind of a coin flip between this and Goza Match. Considering that Sky Strikers are the more prevalent deck in this format, Anti-Spell Fragrance went in over Goza Match, and the primary reason I did that is because this slows Sky Strikers down so much, because now they have to set their spells and wait a turn just to be able to do what they do. Buys you time, get you to set up fields, take things off the field, and just be able to push for a whole lot more damage. And because it's a continuous trap, you can turn it on and off just by using it as tribute fire when you need it. Alright. 3 copies of Rivalry of the Warlords. This is my next card. It basically allows you to turn around and have 1 type of monster on the field. This hurts a lot of different type of decks. It stops Sky Strikers from climbing up the link ladder. It also hurts Gokis as well because they can't extra link in out. Very good card. Three copies of the Monarchs Erupt. Now this is the one card that, in my opinion, should really remain in this deck. Basically because it shuts down monster effects that aren't, for monsters that aren't tribute summon, which is so huge. I've seen people not ignoring this card completely because they want to have an extra deck so they have Ghost Reaper targets. I get that. For me, since the game is more monster effect based, I much rather have a way to shut down my opponent's monster effects while allowing me to actually have monster effects active. It's just an amazing control card. This card plus Rivalry and the face-up March, you pretty much have game right there. Alright. And of course you have your True Draco Apocalypse. Alright, now True Draco Apocalypse is a pretty awesome trap card. For one thing, it allows you, True Draco Apocalypse's primary effect allows you to basically destroy one of your other face-up True Draco cards, and you half all your opponent's monsters' attack, which is pretty awesome. If this card ever leaves the field, you destroy one of your opponent's monsters. Great. And it also has that, and the True Draco / True King trap cards also allow you to be able to triple summon during your opponent's turn, which is even better. So this is like a built-in escalation of the Monarchs for the deck. Alright, you need True King's Return. Basically, target a True Draco, True King monster in your graveyard. You special summon it into your field, defense mode. But issue with that is that you have the True Dracos. They don't get their effects unless they are tribute summon. Downside, but at least you have tribute fodder and extra body on the field. So it has the other two continuous trap effects as the same as True Draco. The escalation effect, which allows you to tribute summon on your opponent's turn, and you pop a card when it leaves the field. Pop a monster, excuse me. Last card I'm running here, 2 copies of Waterfall, the Dragon Souls. I mean, this card is actually very good. I can't turn around and say how good this is because you flip it face up. You're able to basically search your deck for a 1-type monster. So yeah, I know trap card's slow, but you know what? It's not that big of a deal. If your opponent has Goza Match up, this card is very good as well, because then any monsters that don't match your current attribute, you can just turn around and send to the graveyard, and you can draw extra cards. So it gives you the ability to play around Goza Match in this deck. Alright. So guys, that's it. This is my deck profile for True Dracos for the September 2018 format, guys. This is an awesome deck. I hope you guys pick it up to start playing it. I have a lot of fun with playing this deck. I've always, like I said before, I always enjoy tribute summon decks. I think it's a lost mechanic in this game. It's also very budget friendly. Don't forget this. You can pick up these cards relatively cheap through various sources. I mean, I can't turn around tell you how much fun I've had over the past year and a half with this deck. Guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe as well. Enable notifications so you do not miss any videos I upload. Guys, I am going to be doing box opening this week for Legendary Duelist White Dragon Abyss. Fingers crossed, guys, I pull well on those things. So until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you. Peace.